From the Rockies to the Red Rocks, with the marriage news you can use. This is C-WED, the Knot Tying Network.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us at C-WED, the Knot Tying Network. I'm Nate Johnson.
And I'm Irene Martinez. Taking a look at tonight's top stories. An archaeological dig reveals society's first bonds. A local Salt Lake couple confessed the 3 C's are the key to their 76-year nuptials. In sports, Stan shows us the game plan. And what's in the weather? James has details later. But first...
Leading off the news, the Winds, a local Salt Lake couple who have accomplished a feat that in modern society is quite phenomenal. Marion and Irma Wynn have been married over 7 decades. How do they do it? Married on Christmas Eve, 1924, they say the key to their incredible longevity has been the 3 C's. Teresa Roberts explains.
Thanks, Nate. The Winds tell us the 3 C's, commitment, communication, and conflict resolution, are the secret recipe for their incredible marriage. They tell us each understands commitment involves a healthy dose of love and loyalty. While in the case of communication, both parties must realize communicating is more than simply talking. A large part is listening. Listening enables for the free exchange of understanding to flow freely between spouses. And when that's accomplished, it makes the 3rd C, conflict resolution, that much easier. And as the Winds tell us, positive conflict resolution occurs when they reach an agreement while maintaining a good attitude. What it boils down to is simple. Relationships fail when one or both parties lack willingness, knowledge, or skills. The Winds worked hard, showed consideration for each other, gained the necessary skills, and 3/4 of a century later, they're happy and going strong. For C-WED News, I'm Teresa Roberts.
In a rare archaeological find Wednesday, scientists in the western desert uncovered what appears to be an ancient tablet dating back to the year 143 BC, believed to be the creation of the Roman statesman Cicero. The inscription reads, "The first bond of society is marriage."
Looks like we've got some unsettled weather. What's going on out there, James?
Well, Nate, looks like there's some storm clouds brewing on the horizon. I'll be back later to take a look at just what we can expect.
Thanks, James. We look forward to it. In tonight's Financial Watch, our money wizard Don Costner looks at the benefits of a sound financial strategy.
What couples tend to forget is that in a very real sense, a marriage is like a family-run business, and in many instances, particularly where finances are involved, it should be run in a business-like manner. There are basic principles that should be adhered to in business and in marriage. That means taking into consideration things such as budgeting, setting reasonable goals that both can agree on, mapping out a clear plan to reach those goals, determining whether joint or separate accounts will work better for you, emergency and backup plans. And once you decide on a mutual plan, by all means stick to it. A good plan is a great way to ensure a bullish and prosperous marriage. I'm Don Costner, C-WED News.
Communication and conflict resolution. Just how important are they to a relationship? Juna Lee Chang talks to an expert on the subject.
Frank Garish is an expert in communication and conflict resolution as he encounters both on a daily basis.
All relationships endure a certain amount of conflict, and growth can come from conflict. The outcome just depends on how you handle it. There are good ways to resolve conflict, and there are bad ways to resolve conflict.
I can't believe you've been doing this the whole game. What?
Go.
No, you're throwing me out.
Go! Get out! Yelling, fighting, always having to be the party with the last word. These are not effective communication skills and never ever lead to positive conflict resolution. I think that the main thing that couples need to learn is they have to keep the lines of communication open.
So how do couples achieve this, Frank?
Effective listening skills. Learn effective listening skills. No one ever learned anything with their mouth wide open. There's a give and take and everything, so you have to learn how to negotiate, and you don't always have to be right. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have thrown you out of the game like that.
No, I need to learn to listen, and I shouldn't raise my voice like that, and I apologize.
No, you're a good man.
Well, I appreciate that, and I think very highly of you, too.
Thanks.
When it comes to communicating and resolving conflicts, the key is to always keep in mind one important thing. You love your partner, so play fair. For C-WED, I'm Junalee Chang. Back to you.
Harmony seems to be the message as couples from across the nation learn to deal with in-laws in a positive fashion. Nowhere is the trend more evident than with the famously feuding Hatfields and McCoys. Dating as far back as 1863, these Kentucky clans have been part of the most famous family feud in history. All of that has changed now as the two families have settled their differences. Now the Cozy clans celebrate each year with a national family reunion, proving if the Hatfields and McCoys can do it, anyone can. How can you avoid a feud in your marriage? Shauna Campbell explains.
Nate, one big roadblock newlyweds run into is how to address new in-laws. Now, sadly, most resort to not calling them anything at all. Thus, the in-laws remain nameless, and we all know it's difficult to build a relationship with a nameless person. Experts encourage couples to find a title of affection for in-laws, like mom or dad or some other term of endearment. This will get the relationship off to a positive start. Experts also suggest couples establish a dwelling separate from both parents' homes. Voice your love for your spouse in front of your parents. Listen to in-laws' advice, but make your own decisions as a couple. Remember, your in-laws are the parents of your spouse, and treat them accordingly. And give it time. It's been proven in-law relationships only improve with time. And remember, good in-law relationships are reciprocal in nature. You get back what you give. For C-WED News, I'm Shauna Campbell.
Weather brought to you by UtahMarriage.org. Don't wait for your relationship to get stormy. Turn to UtahMarriage.org for tips, hints, resources, and other helpful information to maintain sunny days.
Well, it looks like there could be some stormy weather on the horizon as that tropical moisture you're feeling is brought on by some needless tears. A lot of the time, these unsettled weather patterns are brought on by stress. You know what we're talking about. Couples often try to be super couples, loading up their plates with far too many activities, functions, and daily obligations. After a while, it builds up a lot of high pressure. So it's important in those times to mellow out, slow down, get away for a little while, even if it just means sitting in the backyard together and watching a sunset. Take some time, some alone time and some together time. Stop and smell the roses, as the saying goes. A little relaxation goes a long way toward weathering the storm. And if you can manage to do that, sunny days lie just ahead. Back to you, Irene. Nate.
Thanks, James. We like to see those sunny days in those forecasts.
Yes, we do.
Elsewhere around the state, married couples have been sighted enjoying a wide variety of leisure activities. What's behind this exciting trend? Alan Peters takes a look.
Couples are discovering that a fundamental component to a happy relationship is sharing time together in a wide variety of activities.
We like to get out of the house, take a bike ride once in a while.
We like to take walks and go to the zoo.
Well, we like to water ski, we like to go to the mountains and climb.
Picnics? Same sort of thing. The park is a great place to be, you know.
Tell me why doing things together is important.
I think it just helps strengthen your relationship, especially when you have opportunities to be out, kind of just the two of you.
Oh, I think sometimes we just get too caught up in our daily lives, and it's good to slow down and take a break, kind of just make sure you're still connecting as a couple and not living isolated.
It's a cliche, but quality time is important. You know, it's really easy just to lose sight of that.
I could cop out and go out with my friends and play golf every 7 days a week, but I don't want to do that. I want to work. Marriage takes work, and I put effort into that, you know.
What advice would you give to other couples?
Oh, just make sure you take time for your relationship and, you know, make that an important part of your lives.
Whatever she says, yeah. I'll defer to the decision maker there.
Make the time to do leisure activities together that keeps your marriage, that keeps your relationship. Because if you don't do things together and if you aren't interested in each other's ideas and feelings and what they like to do, then instead of having a marriage, a relationship, you're just two people living in the same house together. And that's how you grow apart.
Find any opportunity that they can to spend with each other. You know, if they don't have a lot of leisure time or a lot of free time, even just going grocery shopping together gives them an opportunity just to share activities and be together.
Marriage is a marathon. It's not something you're gonna, okay, I'm gonna quit in 5 years and not use the D word. You know, we're not gonna do that. We're gonna stay married forever, and We have to make the time, and doing activities together is just a way of, expressing to one another our love for each other.
The common factor is to always remain open to the other's likes, dislikes, and tastes. By doing so, you'll not only grow together as a couple, you may even discover some things about yourself. Back to you.
On the spiritual front, researchers have found a shared faith base can play an integral part in a successful marriage. Studies indicate that regardless of denomination, married couples that have spirituality as some sort of priority in their life and attend a religious service weekly have a 33% lower rate of divorce.
Traffic is brought to you by the Utah Family Health Line. Don't let the hustle and bustle of everyday life cause a traffic jam in your marriage. Call 1-800-472-4716 for helpful information and resources to help keep your marriage sailing along smoothly.
Well, it looks like things are getting busy out there. Let's go to our guy in the sky for a look at what's going on.
Yeah, we're here. Yes. People are just flocking to take that walk down the aisle, Irene. Approximately 23,000 marriages a year in Utah. That's more than 60 a day. And we can see evidence of that right here, right now where we are. You know, a lot of people may not realize this, but Utah has the highest percentage of two-parent families in the nation. 83%. 83%, Irene. Now, not to mention one of the highest percentage populations of folks married for over 70 years. My mom and dad have been married for 50. Now, that's a statistic we all like to hear. Back to you in the studio.
Another big part of married life is parenting. When the kids come into the picture, everything changes. Licensed clinical social worker Shauna Bradley explains.
So what happens when a baby comes into a marriage? Let me put it this way. Food courts and Happy Meals instead of gourmet meals and teriyaki chicken. Dr. Seuss instead of Dr. Ruth. Disneyland instead of Paris. Well, my advice to parents is this. Be prepared as you can be, and that means associated with rearing children really should fall equally to both parents. The mom might carry the child through pregnancy, but dad's role is really equally as important through the process. Marriage is a partnership, and when children come into that family, the partnership must get even stronger. After all, you'll have a little person who depends on you for everything, and a strong marriage makes a strong family. Children are one of life's greatest rewards, but they really don't come without challenges. Just be prepared.
Good advice. Thanks, Dr. Bradley.
And speaking of challenges, what's going on in the world of sports, Dan?
Well, Nate, when you think of sports, one of the first words that comes to mind is teamwork. It's what teams, married teams included, thrive on. It's how success is ultimately achieved. So we dropped in on an expert to see what he had to say about the subject.
The key to success, plain and simple, is teamwork. No one in this room is going out there and do it on their own. It takes a concerted, focused team effort. Success does not come easy. It's something that must be worked for, and that means team effort. There can be no deviation from that effort. We all have responsibilities. We all have things we're expected to accomplish.
And we all share in decision making. But remember, frustration comes from unmet expectations. So don't set your expectations so high that there's no way they can possibly be met. Keep it real at all times. Right, Coach?
Right, Patty.
If we each do our part, and if each of us respect our spouse, we'll all have a successful and a beautiful, fulfilling relationship.
Now, get out there and have a successful marriage.
Pretty much says it all, doesn't it?
I'll say.
Well, I guess that about wraps it up for this edition of C-WED News.
If you have any other questions about information and resources on how to keep your marriage alive, prosperous, and happy, please feel free to call the number located at the bottom of the screen.
On behalf of all of us here at C-WED, the Knot Tying Network, and the Governor's Commission on Marriage, thank you for joining us.
Hello, I'm Mike Levitt. This is my wife, Jackie. We'd like to take this opportunity to congratulate you on your decision to marry. It's an extraordinary time of your life. I can say My own marriage has been truly one of the most rewarding gifts of my life. We'd also like to thank you for taking the time to watch this video presentation. And while it may not address every obstacle that you'll encounter, it's full of helpful information that's beneficial to any marriage.
Remember, the information you have just seen applies to all couples, whether you are newlyweds or married for decades like the Winds.
Thanks again for watching. And on behalf of the great state of Utah, we wish you all the happiness and prosperity in the world as you begin this new life together.